Hey, how's it going, Sarvani?
Yeah, hi. This is Sharwani.
Hi, good to meet you.
Yeah, hi. So actually I had a course project where we had to like implement a model given in a paper, proposed by in a paper. So can I just share my screen?
Yeah, let me know if you don't have access and I can enable it.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Looks good.
So this is the paper, which has operational model as EGR generalized or role-based access model, extended
Mhm.
generalized, and it has administrative model as modified RBAC. So I implemented the operational model, whatever was given here. They put an example over here for the operational use case.
Mhm.
So I implemented it. I made this is what I did.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like there are some many-to-many relations over here, such as kids-friendly content, something like PDRA, permission to device role. So it's like uh, different different combinations of permissions can be mapped to different device roles. So how
Okay.
I have implemented this, how I have written the same in OPA code is Rego code is like this.
Okay. And how can I help you with this? What are you trying?
I'm
What is
actually
not working?
I'm actually very new to this. I'm not sure if this is this is fine if I write like this, because I feel writing like this, there's a lot of repetitions, right? RP and all that. Role pair to device role mapping.
I mean, yeah, how you've written it is very legible, so it makes it very easy to read. So I guess it depends. Like, are you just looking for comments on stylistic comments? Or are you looking for optimization comments? What are you looking for here? Are you still there? Did I lose you? Hello, is it me? No, it looks like I'm connected.
Yeah, you're
Sarvani?
connected, Peter.
All right, cool. Sarvani, you still there? Okay, she might have had an internet. Oh, looks like she's disconnected. Okay, while we're waiting for her to come back, if someone else wants to hop on and ask their question, we can work on the next one.
Yeah, Peter. So my first question is, so actually we are using a token-based authentication. So the token we are passing in header, and we want to pass that token from header. Is there any way that we can fetch the headers in policy.trago files?
I see. So you're sending an HTTP request to OPA to evaluate a policy, and you want to add a token to the header and see if that can actually be passed in. I don't think that's possible. I don't know. Like, I haven't seen that, and I'll double check the docs, but I don't think that's possible.
I checked the docs for an earlier version. There it was actually clearly written that policy files we don't support headers. We only for support passing of the body request body, not the
Yeah,
headers. But I'm not
that's
sure
what I
about
was thinking
recent
as well.
updates.
No, like that. We wouldn't change anything like that without it being like a community request. You can file a feature request to ask for it, but there's no guarantee that that'll get implemented in any specific time or at all. Right? So you have to like justify the case why this is a good architecture change for OPA, and then you could file a feature request there, or we could figure out a workaround maybe that to get you that same information without passing it through a header. Yeah, why are you trying to
I
use a header instead of another method?
I actually found a workaround where they suggested to use a system file, because in system file actually OPA parses the whole request, including the method type, the headers, everything. But the problem is now after I am getting the header in the system Rego file, I actually want that same header or the same token in the other Rego files also. So my second question was that if let's say because whenever a request comes in, by default, if the authentication type is token, so first the request goes to the system Rego files, and then it goes to the policy.rego, whatever policy file we are evaluating. So that's how it works, I saw. So so my question is, let's say if the request comes in and I initialize a variable with that, I parse the header and initialize it, set it to a variable. Is there a way that I can refer that variable from a different Rego file?
Yeah, if they're compiled in the same package, you should be able to reference. Wait, but you're assigning it at runtime, right? You're not assigning it
Yes,
at.
yes. No, it's not a constant that it like a constant. It's not assigned
Yeah.
like a constant, but like whenever a request comes in, I pass it from the input variable and
Mhm.
assign it to some other variable, and that variable I want to uh,
Yes. So you
refer
want
from.
to find some way to like store that data so that you can
Yes,
access it
yes,
later.
yes.
I wonder if we could do this with this storage. I'm just looking at the docs for disk storage now to see if it's possible to do it with this. I'm thinking, well, I don't have an answer off the top of my head, but this. So here, can you just file a GitHub discussion thread, and then I can drop an answer in there once I find a solution.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
and just send me, either Slack me or paste it here once you have it posted, and then I'll know what to look for.
Yeah, sure. Actually, what is happening is we need that token in a different Rego file also, but that token is in the header. So because we were not able to pass the header in that Rego file, so we saw somewhere in the discussions only, someone suggested that in system Rego files, we can actually parse the header also. So we tried using the system Rego files, but the actual place where we require that a token is the policy.rego, which is the Rego file. So that's where we are actually stuck. We are not
Okay,
getting
yeah, I
that.
would just include that information in the discussion thread, and then I can use that to generate a response. Yeah, just make sure to include all of that information.
And the third thing we also tried is we compiled or we wrote all the policies in the single file only, in the system file only. We thought that why to write policies in different file? Let's compile it in a single file only. So we wrote the policy in system, all our policies in system Rego files. But when we were from Postman, we were hitting the URL like data slash system slash the auth slash allow policy. So what was
Hmm.
happening? The call was first coming to the system Rego file with the headers. And once the authorization is done for the system.rego files, the call was again getting redirected to the same file, system.rego files, with only the input set variable only set to the body. Are you getting my point?
No, I'm not
So
following.
let's
So you're sending a request. You're sending a request
yes.
with an authentication piece. It gets evaluated by the policy at first, and then it's approved, and you want it to then be evaluated by a second policy.
Yeah, it's something like that only. So it was like first the token should be evaluated, whether that's a valid token or not. That's what we wanted. And once it's evaluated to true, then we wanted that second policy, whether the user has the authorization or not, that we want to get evaluated. So that was our
May
main.
I interrupt? Is it
Yeah,
audible?
Shini. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Peter. So what Shubham is trying to say is, we have an application, and that specific application sends a token in the header, and it calls the OPA. So we have the system policy where it lands with the header. We can see that OPA does reads the header information, which is with the token. And based on this, what it does is we are able to see that in the console logs, the header information is there. But for some reason, there is a redirect call which is happening from OPA itself, where we can see that while it redirects the call to itself, the header information is lost, but we have the body. So not sure why that is happening, but yeah, we are facing this problem.
Yeah, I think there might be something in the config file to preserve headers on redirect. Let me check this out. Configuration. Like I know that we have recently been doing some work on the network configurations. Where is that file? Boy, configuration.
And if that is fixed, I guess we would solve the problem, because yes, OPA does reads the header. That is something that we are able to see. So when we pass the header information and call the system policy.
I don't actually see any settings for redirect, but I know that this came up. So I'm not this exact question, but a similar question. So I thought we were doing some work on this. Yeah, I think, yeah, if you can just file, I would file an issue and ask to see if we can preserve headers on redirects. And then give your example. Because I think it should be possible. And I think we're looking at similar stuff at this moment. So we could probably slot that in.
That would be great. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, so file an issue for this, and then a GitHub discussion for the previous question.
I'm sorry, I lost you there.
Yeah, Peter.
Yeah, I was saying, like, for the redirecting, file a GitHub issue, and then for the question,
The referring of the variable.
yeah, file a GitHub discussion for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. That sounds good. Do you guys have any other questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna go back to Shravani.
There's one more question. I
Yeah.
have it. What that is, so we have so we are running this OPA as a container. We are containerizing the OPA, so we already have that available. So we are running it as a pod inside the AKS cluster. So we are running it. We wanted to run it on a different namespace, but for some reason, OPA has to be run on the OPA namespace only for some reason, not sure. Is there a way that we can configure it to run it on a different namespace other than the OPA namespace as such? Or else what happens is we have our application which is running on a different namespace, and if we want to communicate to OPA a service, then we have to create something like an external service in Kubernetes, which we don't want to do it. So we want to run OPA in the OPA in a different namespace other than the OPA namespace.
Yeah, that should be possible. What error did you hit from after you tried to move it? Like when you updated all the configurations to use the new namespace, what error did you hit?
We sort of what happens is when OPA runs on a different namespace, it has something called as kube config, not sure what it is, but it's like a sidecar which keeps listening to any Rego files, and it loads those Rego files. So
are you using kube management or gatekeeper?
We are using kube management.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And so the sidecar is looking, yeah, I mean, I would need to look at your config to see exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. Shubham, maybe we can share. Is it fine? We can share our screen and show you.
Yeah.
Okay. Shubham, maybe you can share only that specific the AKS screen, maybe where we have, and then if you already have that open, and we can show that.
Need to open that, Shini.
Yeah. Maybe in the meanwhile, Peter, you can converse with Shravani.
Okay, sounds good. Shravani, do you want to bring up your screen share again with that PDF and the file you're trying to work on?
Yeah. So this is what so this is the paper.
Yeah.
And this is the use case which is present that, and I was trying to implement this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is this is how I try to implement many-to-many relation. So this and this. So permission to device role assignment. So if there can be multiple permissions and instead of multiple device roles, I just represented in this way. But I saw that there's repetition of P, right? Like in all these cases. So I was just wondering if there's a better way to represent many-to-many relations.
Permissions. I mean, this is the simplest view that I think you could do. And so you're just looking for something that's more elegant as far as like coding goes?
Yeah. I'm new to OPA and Rego. So
yeah, so from a many-to-many relationship. Or
do you do such things in allow or something? Okay. The logic.
Wait, say that question again.
So do you check the relations in the OPLO, or putting it here is fine?
Yeah, separating it from the allow is actually better. So you want those things as it's like a helper function so that you can call out to them, and you don't need everything within the allow statement. The allow statement can be very simple, and then it can call a bunch of other things.
Yeah. So before continuing this, I had one more important question. So I was just thinking how we can connect this to a Flask application. So I was thinking this can be a policy decision point, OPA, and we can have a Flask application which will be a policy enforcement point. So this is the paper we are trying to implement is role-based administration of role-based smart home IoT. So we are also trying to get some information from IoT devices. User is trying to access this device or trying to perform this action, trying to turn on and over or something like that. So we are trying to get that information in a Flask application. And then we are trying to, then we'll ask the OPA server if this particular operation is possible or not. And if any administrative user can change or add devices or something like that. We are also trying to ask OPA server. So do
Yeah,
you
let me
think
see.
this way is like fine, or how we pass on information?
Yeah, that should totally work. And so I'm trying to see, there should just be like a Flask webhook to use as like the authorizer. I haven't set it up myself, but there should be a way to do it pretty easily.
Okay. So also one more thing is, how should I verify or check if any user requesting information or any information coming from a device to a Flask application and then which goes to OPA? Like, how will I check if it's not some random JSON input? So
I don't. So you're expecting people. So you're expecting some requests to be filtered through Flask, and they're not going to be authorization, and so you just want to ignore them completely.
can
I don't think I understand the question. Well, yeah. Why would non-authorization requests be sent to OPA?
Okay, so you're saying users should first authorize in the Flask application that, and then go to OPA. But still, like, user can put some like can have some other like change the user value, right?
Yeah.
In the input.json and then send some random value who might be an administrator.
Yeah.
So should I make use of something like JSON Web Token? I was just going through it. I'm not sure how to.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, a JSON Web Token would be more secure, but I mean, even yeah. So like, we have built-in functions to work with JWT tokens. So that would be a more realistic scenario to use a token.
Okay. So like JSON Web Token is one thing, right? Like, just asking if there's any other way, like any other thing which I should take care of.
I think the web tokens is the simplest approach, and probably your best bet. Like, I think that they're very, very standard and ubiquitous in the industry. So I would just use JSON Web Tokens.
Okay. Also, I wanted to also take care about the environmental contextual information. So according to this model, it also takes the environmental context, such as say it is daytime, and we don't want someone to say it's daytime, and we don't want someone to turn on the light, something like that. So how will I try to include the environmental aspects, like in this case, considering that like environmental values also will change, right, with time?
So, yeah, so when you're setting environmental values, that would just come as like part of the input, right? Like, so as wherever you're generating the request that you're going to send to OPA, right? Yeah. That's the point. You're generating this JSON object. You want to pull in those variables so you can send them all to OPA at once.
Okay. And like OPA will allow, and is there something like OPA will periodically give like based on an environmental condition, it will give different values of output? Say daytime, it will put the output as not allow, false, and then at night it will give true.
I mean, you just define that in your policy. You just have to define a policy that says allow during specific hours or deny at specific hours, right? So that's just an additional rule that you would write in your Rego file.
Okay. So one more thing, can OPA like respond on demand? Like, not on demand, I mean like OPA responding when automatically based on the environmental condition or time.
What's the difference between automatically responding and responding to the request when it happens? Like, it sounds like the same thing to me.
Okay, that makes sense. And one
Hmm.
more thing is like, how do you connect OPA to DBMS?
DBMS.
Yeah. So like, what if you would like to do that? Is there something like that?
So just like any database, or what do you mean?
Yeah, any
Or like-
database, like in general, because we are passing this input, right? JSON input.
Yeah, okay. So you want to connect it to some sort of external data source? Is that?
Yeah,
Here,
that
I'm just-
that also.
we have a few options for external data. You can check this link in the Zoom chat. But basically, you're either gonna push the data via like the API, or like bundle it up at compile time. But yeah, so there's a few different options. I would review the options on that page.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm also having an Rego file for administrative model. So which will, like, for example, if any user is trying to change the PDRA or permission to device rule assignment, then the administrative model will check if the user can do it or not, allow or not.
Mhm.
It's in a different file. So I still have to complete this. I just wanted to ask if if you have a general idea of what I'm trying to do, like if it is fine or not, because I'm very new to OPA and Rego.
Okay. Oh, so repeat it. So you have the first file which validates the user, and then you have a second file that does what?
So first model will check if a user can do the requested action or not. For example,
Mhm.
here Alex is trying to turn on the TV in weekends. So the operational model will check if this particular action is like valid or not, or possible or not. And next is the administrative use case, when some person is trying to change the this permission to device role or something like that itself. Something which determines if someone can access something. Administrative stuff. So this will check if that particular person who's trying to change the administrative stuff, if that particular action is valid or not, administrative action.
So your
Sorry.
question is this possible, or is this the best way to configure this?
Like, yeah, both. So if the entire flow is fine or not, like I'm passing something to a Flask application and from the IoT device, and then I'm passing to OPA. And in OPA, I'm trying to use two models, two Rego files.
Yeah, that's fine. So OPA is just going to evaluate the input against everything in the bundle, right? And so if you have two different files and both of them are going to compare that input, right? If they see something in there that matches in the input, they will evaluate that against the rules in that file. So you can get multiple outputs, right? So like these rules, as they evaluate, if they evaluate to true and come up with an output, that will be sent as part of the response.
Okay, yeah, I think that's it from my side.
Okay, sounds good. And then
Thank you.
yeah, make sure to check that link in the Zoom chat to get the external data sources.
Yeah.
Cool. Srini, are you still there? Are you talking? I can't hear anything.
Is it audible now?
Now it is. Yeah, now I can hear you.
Some issue with the adapter, I guess. So yeah, we're just trying to set up and trying to bring up that exception. For some reason, there is some issue with the cluster. Just give us maybe some time, or maybe So what we were getting is when the OPA is running on a different namespace, and the cube config is trying to listen to the config map, the Rego files, it is only listening and it is only trying to read on the OPA namespace. And if we try to deploy OPA in a different namespace, then in the OPA namespace, then it works. If we deploy it in a different namespace, it creates an issue that it always looks for the config map in the OPA namespace and it fails. So
Yeah,
not
that
sure
just
if,
sounds like it sounds like there's like a config file somewhere that didn't get fully updated.
Okay. We have this OPA config map that we mount, and there are some environment variables that we set. Is there any specific environment variable that we need to
Okay,
set?
Shini,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Actually, I think you pinged me the error. Some
Okay,
the
great.
chat.
Great.
Send
Great.
it.
Yes, sure.
Just give me a minute. Copying.
We send it in the chat itself here. Yeah. Yeah, not sure if it is if there is any configuration for that because we are using we use the same YAML files that is shared as a part of the documentation, and we are deploying the deployment YAML and the related configs. Yeah, so this is the error that we are getting. Yeah.
And
So
is there a way to paste any image in the chat? Like, so want to
An
send
image? I'm not sure.
Okay.
yeah.
Default.
Yeah.
What logs is this coming from? Where'd you pull this?
Yeah, it's the OPA logs, which is from the inside the AKS. So it the container logs basically. So it is the cube management which is throwing this exception.
Okay.
Can I share my screen to show one
Yeah.
image?
Yeah, yeah.
You guys able to see this image?
Yes, yes. Yeah, OPA expects to find its policies in the config maps in OPA namespace. Right, right, right. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah. You can stop sharing.
Yeah, and I know that is the default command policies. If there is a setting.
Is there a Slack community or anywhere that we can sort of reach out?
Where you can what?
Yeah, we can sort of reach out anytime if we are facing any problem. Like if you have any chat group where yeah, call is good, but then yeah, sometimes if we
You're very faint. Sounds like you're very far away.
oh, is it? I'm not sure. Just a minute. Or okay.
Okay, it's much better. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying is there a Slack group that you have, or any chat group where we can sort of also reach out to you if we come across any sort of an issue, or if we need any sort of a suggestion? Is there a Slack group or any chat group that you have?
Yeah, so GitHub Discussions is the best for technical questions. We have a general Slack group for general questions, slack.openpolicyagent.org.
Okay. Can you sort of share that? Maybe that would also help if, let's say, we have some issues. Maybe we'll also reach out to you there.
I just posted the link in the chat here.
Awesome. Great. Thanks. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the config here. Namespace. And I feel like you should be able to update this config. I've never tried it myself though, so I can't say for sure that it would work, but I do feel like you should be able to update this config and point it at a different namespace. But you said that, yeah, can you share the config that you've created?
Yeah, sure. Maybe Shubham, you can show the whole OPA deployment YAML files and the related resources, Kubernetes resources that we are deploying. You're muted.
Yeah, Shini, the OPA YAML files.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry guys, you will see my screen.
Yes. Yes.
So this is the first container in which the OPA is actually running. And
Yeah. Here it is, the kube management.
this is the second one. Yeah, kube management.
Scroll up to the top.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's the deployment. Where's your webhook configuration manifest?
We are not using any such type of webhooks.
Yeah, we don't have anything like that because we referred the OPA documentation, and this is what they have to deploy. But yeah, we don't have anything like a webhook.
Right, but
configuration.
OPA is a webhook, right? So
Right.
that's how so it needs to be called out to, even though it's like living inside of Kubernetes, it still needs that webhook to call out to it.
Okay. Okay. Like, is there any specific resource that?
Sorry, I can't hear you again. It's very faint again.
I've removed my headset. Is that better now?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So, is there any specific resource, any manifest that you have to deploy that? Because this
Yeah,
is what.
have you gone through the ingress tutorial on the website?
No, we have not.
Okay, yeah, here's I just posted a link. Go through the ingress tutorial and that'll show you basically all the steps for setting up kube management and then setting up the webhook so that it can reach out to OPA. And then once you have like a fully working configuration, then I would try to change the namespace on the config maps in the configuration settings. So just try to do it like piece by piece.
Okay. You have the webhook configuration. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Okay. Right. That's for the. Okay, I can see that. But that's for the service account or something that it's specifying here. there is a specific resource, right? You have it, which is called as validating webhook configuration or something. Not sure. I can see. Okay, shall I share my screen real quick? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. How do we share this here? Okay, share screen. Here it is. Okay, you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so these are the steps, right? So we are creating a role, maybe
Yeah.
to create this RBAC and map it to a service account. And then we have a OPA service, cluster IP service, which is created, which we also have it. This is the deployment YAML, which we are creating. And there is a new resource, which is the validating webhook configuration. Okay. Not sure about this. We have not deployed this, but is this what you are talking about?
Yeah. So when you're using kube management, what are you actually using it for? You're using it for an admission controller, yes?
Yes.
Then yeah. So you're going to need this webhook configuration as well.
Okay. 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 But we are able to call OPA without this. We have exposed ingress, and we are able to call OPA through ingress. So ingress is redirecting the call to the Kubernetes service, and the service is redirecting the call to OPA. So that part of it is working right now. So there is no issues with the call as such.
Okay. So are you using it as an admission controller or are you using it as something else?
I'm sorry.
Are you using OPA as an admission controller or are you using it for something else?
No, not as an admission controller, but we are using it in a different way. So we have a application which is trying to send the token, and the token is validated through OPA. So there are some policies that we have written which is validating it, not as an admission controller.
I see. Okay, so you're not using. Okay, so you're just running kube management as a way to have OPA live in the cluster.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm not sure that that's the best configuration. Let's see here real quick. Yeah. Yeah, because I think you can just deploy OPA. Let's see. I guess we don't have an example here. But yeah, like kube management is specifically designed to be like an admission controller. So I'm wondering, there's probably a better deployment model. I'm just not sure what it is off the top of my head. We don't have any examples of it.
Okay.
Let's see here. GitHub, maybe something trip.
So let's say if we don't use cube management approach, then let's say if OPA is running and we have our config maps mounted to the OPA pod, and for some reason, let's say we want to change or update the policy, how would the changes be reflected? Because every time then we have to restart the pod, which we don't want to. And that's why I guess kube management is there to, which is like a sidecar which keeps listening to the changes on the config map, and it updates the pod with the latest data, right? So if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you should be able to set it up to use a bundle server and still like pull those down as long as you can open that connection, right? So you just have like an Nginx pod serving out the bundles. And then so you have to right, update the bundle for that Nginx pod and like repackage it there. But then once that Nginx pod is serving up the new policy bundle, then OPA should be able to just pull it.
Okay.
Cluster rules. Good example of this anywhere. Actually, so I'm looking at the kube management thing, and it says that there's
Okay.
there's a flag, namespaces equals star, and it'll look for policies in all namespaces.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah, I wonder if that would help you.
Okay. If you
It's like
specify
just directly on
and queue
the
management will
docs here.
look. Okay, I guess we tried this also, Shubham, right? Somewhere, I guess I remember we tried this, but yeah, even this has.
Yeah, I think the when we were going through the doc of queue management, they told that you can pass this as an argument, but where actually we have to pass, we are still confused because we passed it in the YAML file, but it didn't picked up.
Where did you put it in the YAML file?
In the arguments, I just kindly showed you. So let me share my screen quickly. So you can see currently also it's written namespace equal to IAM, but it didn't really pick it up.
Can you try just changing that to star and see if, like, I just want to see if they change it to star, if
Mhm.
that would pick up anything, and then we can try to make it more specific.
Okay, we can try that once to just check whether it's picking it up. No.
Can you do that, Shubham, maybe? Real quick, is it possible?
But currently the
We have
pod
the
is
cluster.
crashing.
We have a cluster problem. Okay. Maybe we'll try this out, Peter, and maybe we'll maybe get back to you if we have any issues here. But yeah, this is something that we can. It's not a major high priority one also, but yeah, this is something that if we have it, it's good. But the first and the second one is something which is on a higher priority, which Shubham has already described. Yeah, we will share that in the discussion group, and we'll reach out to you if we have anything.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. So there was one question for the discussion group, and then one was to make an issue about it. So here,
Yeah.
that's for the discussions, and then issues.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. File those and then send over the links, and then we can review them. Cool. Any other questions for now?
From my side.
Nothing, Peter. Thank you so much. And just wanted to know, you work in OPA? I mean, you work for OPA.
Yeah, I work for Styra. We're the founders of the Open Project.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. And where do you put up?
Say again?
Where do you put up? Are you, where do you stay?
Oh, I live in Denver.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Great. Thanks, Peter. Nice talking to you.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Take care.